Welcome to Dead Film Critics Society, folks. As always, I'm Ian Billing. I run DVD reviews on Instagram, and this is my esteemed colleague Daniel Ang. He runs Reviewing on YouTube. Please give him some love. YouTube is constantly fucking over his channel because it's so small, but if you help him grow, I'm sure he'll do great things. And we have a guest on today. Would you like to introduce him, Daniel?
Yeah, sure. So, our second guest on the podcast is my esteemed friend, Eric. He's not the hugest movie guy. I'll come out and say that just so everyone knows. If, you're
Yeah.
wondering why he's not talking the most, is because he probably doesn't know the most. But, he's said some interesting things that I've never picked up on movies, so I'm definitely looking forward to what he has to say about the movies we're talking about today.
All right.
Yeah, but before we get into that, I'll quickly give you my piece of trivia. It's a little stupid, but here we go. So how much money did Mulan 2, since we're talking about Mulan today, make in theaters?
Mulan 2 was direct to DVD, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Okay, that was a
Trick
trick
question.
question.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
good try. I like that, though. I like that.
yeah, that was my attempt. All right,
All
Aiden, you've got a trivia
right.
question for us?
Yes, I do. So, as you know, in Mulan, Eddie Murphy voices Mushu, the little dragon, right? Now, I want to ask you, how many animated films has Eddie Murphy lent his voice to?
Well, he lent his voice to this one, and then I think he lent his voice to all four Shrek ones, but I'm not sure of any other animated movies he might have been in. So I'm gonna estimate he did like two more and just say seven.
No, he only did Mulan and the Shrek movies. Only 5.
Oh,
You're
well,
still close,
I
though.
had it the first time. I guessed that he had more, and I guess I was wrong. That's
Sorry, man. It
unfortunate.
happens.
Yeah. All right. I guess we can quickly get into some news.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give my first piece of news. Indiana Jones 5, which has been confirmed to be done by director James Mangold, who directed Logan recently.
Ooh.
He's doing
All
that.
right.
John Williams has been confirmed to do the music again. Harrison Ford's also returning. And they just announced their new casting of the co-lead of the movie, Phoebe Walker-Bridger, most known, a female British actress, best known for Fleabag, a show of her own creation and writing, and she stars in that as well, and that's gotten a lot of acclaim. She's won a few Emmys for that, and yeah, definitely interested to see. I haven't seen any Indiana Jones movies, not gonna lie, but this makes me more interested in seeing the other ones before Indiana Jones 5 comes out, whenever that happens.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't mean to like continually hammer this into you, but dude, it is a crime that you haven't seen those movies yet. They're cinematic classics, except for Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. We don't need to talk about that one. But I mean, it's a fantastic movie series, and I promise you won't regret it if you see them. But
Yeah.
I am actually interested in what that casting choice means. Like, is this character going to be like a female like counterpart to Indiana Jones, or like because what's Harrison Ford really supposed to do here? Like the man is like almost 80 at this point, so I mean, I don't know. I can't imagine he's going to be doing any stunts or anything like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, hmm. Yeah. All right. Well, I guess I'll bring my own piece of news to the table. I noticed that there's all this controversy surrounding, Joss Whedon apparently being not so great of a person to the females he's worked with, and there was, I don't know if you guys heard, but there was a interaction he had with Gal Gadot on the set of the Justice League reshoots, and basically straight up told her that he would ruin her career if she didn't do what he asked him to do. And I want to hear your thoughts on that. Like, what does that surprise you? Like, considering like what we know about him now, or like did it, like when those allegations came to light, did it shock you? Because I never really thought he seemed like that type of person, but I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah. I didn't. I wasn't completely shocked because like these movie people these days. Also, I want to quickly mention how Scott Rudin, a pretty famous producer whose movies, um, in total have acclaimed like over 155 Oscar nominations from films he's produced. Which is pretty crazy to think about. He's produced great movies such as Lady Bird, The Social Network, The Truman Show. He's
Mm-hmm.
also had these allegations, like similar allegations, come against him, and that kind of stuff. It doesn't surprise me because unfortunately, there's probably just a lot of really bad people in Hollywood who get covered up for a really long time, and only these days it seems that most more are being exposed for who they are. Even though I'm a little more suspicious of the Joss Whedon one because I think they really want to try. I think Warner Brothers. I don't know if Warner Brothers had any hand in this, but I feel like this is a little convenient considering the whole situation with Zack Snyder's Justice League coming out and basically everyone trying to pin the old Justice League as the Justice League, the Josh Whedon cut, even though it wasn't really Josh Whedon's fault that the first Justice League was so bad. He came in on a project that he wasn't supposed to. That's always hard for a director. Plus, Warner Brothers interfered a lot with his intention for a final cut. He wanted one that was going to be 2.5 hours. Obviously, got cut down to about 2. So, yeah, while he's clearly not that great of a guy, it seems real convenient considering the situation around Warner Brothers trying to present Zack Snyder's Justice League as Warner Brothers being the good guy and allowing the director to bring his whole vision to life, even though they also cut the Green Lantern that Zack Snyder wanted for the final scenes of Justice League.
So you think that you think that like if the Snyder Cut hadn't been like greenlit to come out, this probably wouldn't have come to light?
I'm not saying that. It just seems weird considering the timing, I'd say, considering all the stuff that's happening right now with Josh Whedon kind of getting slammed for seeing how, like, basically with Zack Snyder's Justice League shows how you could have made a good version of Justice League in most people's eyes, even though I do think a lot of people's opinions on it are being misconstrued with how bad the first one was and how the new one is just an improvement. Doesn't necessarily make it a good movie. Obviously, I haven't judged that for myself yet. I will eventually, but just seems kind of interesting in that way. Yeah. So Netflix has inked a deal with Sony Movies. So Netflix will become the official hub of all the any Sony pictures, which includes any upcoming Spider-Man films. So all of those will become, I think, Netflix movies technically now. They'll all be heading to Netflix. So that's interesting. I'm definitely looking forward to checking those out. And, the fact that it's on Netflix it's not a huge deal to me. Obviously I have Netflix. So if I still have Netflix, I'm pretty sure I will probably in the future. I'll be able to enjoy those movies wherever. And, that's cool.
No, that is really cool, actually. It is very cool. This isn't really, it's not really confirmed or anything, but it's been I guess a rumor for a while that Regé-Jean Page from Bridgerton, right? You guys know that person, right?
Yeah.
He's like the Duke or something, but he's apparently been tapped. He might be tapped to play the next James Bond after Daniel Craig, retires after, No Time to Die comes out. And I want to hear your thoughts on that. Like, what do you think of that potential casting choice?
I haven't seen him on Bridgerton, so I don't know. He declined having a second season. I think there was a good amount of talk about that, considering he was apparently pretty good in it and it was bringing him a good amount of fame and acclaim. But also, I think he was saying how the money wasn't too good because they were talking about how, he was being offered $50,000 bonuses per episode, but to some of these big actors compared to some of the other projects, if he can get something like James Bond. I mean, Daniel Craig's about to make $200 million off just James Bond and Knives Out alone. That's a lot of money. And so if you can try to get towards James Bond money, you take it instead of $50,000 an episode, which in a 10-episode season is only going to be like $500,000, which can be pennies compared to what you can potentially make. So, I haven't seen him how good he is as an actor. I'm sure it can work. I'm not too invested in James Bond overall, so I wouldn't be opposed to it for sure.
What do you think about this, Eric? We haven't heard too much from you yet.
To be honest, I don't know most of the people you're talking about, so
that's okay. No worries.
Have you watched any of the James Bond films though?
No, not at all.
So you're like me. Yeah. All right. Let's move on. So a couple of Tom Cruise movies got their release dates moved. Top Gun Maverick got moved to November 19th of this year, and Mission Impossible 7 will be delayed until May 27th of next year of 2022. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not too disappointed by this. These aren't my most anticipated movies, even though I probably wanted to check them out. I don't know how you feel about this, Aiden.
Oh, no, I'm excited for those, honestly. I mean, I know Tom Cruise is a bit weird considering all of his Scientology shit, but he's a cool actor, man. Like he's one of the the biggest box office stars in the history of cinema, right? And he's just endlessly entertaining when I see him on screen. I'm a big fan of the Mission Impossible movies. Like I I remember I got to go see Mission Impossible Fallout in theaters with the D box seats, and I gotta say that was quite the experience, considering how much like shit was going on in that film. And I love the first Top Gun. I'm interested to see where they can take the sequel. I don't know how good it's going to be, but I know it's going to be cool. So I think that's all you can really ask for at the end of the day. Like I'm not expecting anything Oscar worthy here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that's
yeah.
it. I don't have any other news.
Okay,
I mean,
I'll share one last quick one. Is that
yeah.
Paul Dano is going to be cast in a role inspired by Steven Spielberg's father in the movie that Steven Spielberg's doing, based around semi-inspired by his childhood. So that's really interesting. I think Paul Dano is someone who's very overdue for an Oscar nomination. He's a great actor. Definitely should have been nominated for something like There Will Be Blood, and hopefully he does a really good job in this one. I'm excited. I love Paul Dano.
Sweet.
All right, we're gonna do a tier list now, and what I've chosen for our tier list this week is Brooklyn Nine-Nine characters. It'll take me a moment to bring that up.
Oh, that's why you asked me if I like the show. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So we have the tier list now. We're gonna try to come up with a mutual decision on all these characters. Eric said quickly before this he thinks almost all at least the main characters should all be close to A tier if we're doing them based on quality. Do you agree with that, Aiden? Do you think we should do them based on like quality of character writing and distinction, or should we do it based on like how much we like them?
I think we could do a bit of both. I don't see what reason why we couldn't do that, because that could be the tiebreaker in some scenarios, right? So.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Let's start from the bottom because I think we'll leave the main ones closer to last. So we have trying to remember.
Is that the Vulture?
That is not the Vulture. That is
Who's that?
Jake's dad.
C.
Yeah.
I like Bradley Whitford, but I mean, like, come on, he's kind of a
I
dick
was
in
trying
the
to
show,
remember
so.
the
Yeah.
actor name, but so are we cool with this? We're gonna put him in C.
All right.
I mean, yeah.
All right.
I'm cool with that.
This guy. This is like one of the weird night detective people who's like the only thing I can remember about his character is that he apparently just like shaves at his desk, so there's hair on his desk for the morning people. Or I think
that's a D.
Yeah.
Yeah,
probably.
this guy kind of sucks. Kevin. I like Kevin a lot.
Yeah.
He's pretty.
Yeah.
I kind of want to put him in S. Not gonna lie. I like Kevin.
Yeah,
a
Kevin
lot.
Costner is definitely an S for me, man.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna put him in S. The Vulture. So he's not a very likable character. He gets some redemption closer to the end, and I think he works as a character overall. He's kind of interesting. He kind of does get an arc for one of these like kind of villain archetypes a lot more than.
Let's say C. Let's C or B. I don't know.
I would
I
probably
want
do.
to do B.
I'm fine with B then. That's cool.
You cool with B, Aiden? Eric?
Yeah.
All right. Next we got. My mind is blanking right now.
Amy?
Yeah,
Amy.
Amy?
Gosh.
Oh yeah, that's an S right there.
Amy.
Yeah.
She's pretty great.
Yeah.
I can definitely get down with S. Scully, right? Or is this? Yeah. This
Yeah.
is Scully.
I think he's a B or something like that. I don't know.
I
Because he
would
does
think
have
maybe-
somewhat of an arc. Like we find out that him and we find out that him and Hitchcock used to be hot in the '80s. Like that was pretty funny.
That was a pretty
Yeah.
cool flashback episode. Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
They kind of make sense as characters, just like old people who kind of let themselves go, but
Yeah.
still kind of work. But they, they're committed to, and since they're such veterans, they're just committed to doing whatever. So
Yeah.
you can put them in B. Oh my goodness, I'm having a really
Gina?
bad time. Gina.
Yeah.
Gina Linetti. I think that's an A for me. I mean,
she's pretty great. She's she's definitely one of the more out there characters. Definitely very matches the energy of like maybe this just has the highest energy of almost any character except Jake, I'd say.
Yeah.
So I think she's pretty high. I think A seems like a pretty good fit.
no.
Mhm.
All right. Man, I'm very bad right now. I can't remember.
That's God damn it. Why can't I remember his name? I should be able to fucking get this. Yeah, Adrian Pimento.
Adrian.
Adrian
Yeah.
Pimento.
Adrian
Yeah.
Pimento.
Oh.
I'm not huge on him. I like his character's kind of funny sometimes, but I think it's just sometimes just too over the top. Personally, I don't think it always works.
Especially when he's like, I don't know, just hurting himself.
Yeah, he doesn't really get I don't really like the arc they tried to give him overall. Like have him come back, but then also leave again. And then he's in that one episode where like he's an insurance guy. I
Yeah.
don't know. I didn't like that too much.
No, that's
But
fine. I think he's a C. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I'd say B or C. I don't think he's D for sure. I don't know. Eric, you want to break this tie?
I personally would have put him at an A or an S, but
Okay, so then
Ooh.
let's definitely put him in B for sure, at least.
All right.
I think we can do that. Oh man. Like I
Oh,
said,
Wunsch.
Yeah.
Wunsch.
Madeline Wunsch.
I think that's a.
I mean-
I think that's a C.
yeah.
I think she's one
C
of the
or B? Because I do like her
worst-
character arc.
Yeah,
I mean,
like,
she characterized
it's
pretty well.
okay. She's not a character you're not really supposed to like most of the time. And I don't think, like, other than being as smart as Holt, I don't think she nearly has any personality or any, like, cool motivations other than... I'm trying to remember why she always wants to screw him over and I can't, and that's, I guess, just part of the memorabilia, like, lack of memorable moments, so, I don't know, C seems like a good idea.
Yeah.
Boyle.
Boyle.
That's an S. S.
S. Boyle,
Yeah.
great comedic relief. Amazing character.
Seth Doserman.
Seth
He was
Do-
only
oh,
in
remember.
a couple episodes,
only in
and
a
he
few
got barely any
episodes.
characterization, so I said D.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like Bill Hader a lot. He's in this show Barry that I like. But yeah, he really doesn't get much. He's kind of a funny archetype, but other than that, he really doesn't have any other character to him.
Yeah, no, I would.
But
agree.
I think he's better than this guy, though. I would
Yeah,
say
no,
that.
that's
Yeah.
fair. Yeah.
Doug Judy. I want to put him in S. He's amazing. You know, every
Yeah, I'd
episode that
agree.
he's in
Yeah.
is like a top tier episode of that season.
Yeah.
And, you know, he has a great rapport with Jake. And, you know, he kind of works that that anti-hero kind of vibe, but like also not like a Deadpool type of anti-hero, obviously. Anyways, Hitchcock.
I think Hitchcock can go with Scully and B.
Yeah,
I'm fine with
you know,
that.
they always have to be together. That's
of course.
that's one of the things the show commits to, so we can put him in B. Terry.
Terry's an A for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think.
What would you
he's
give him,
got a-
Eric?
I would give him S too, but
Ooh.
I would say all the main characters are probably an S. But
Okay.
Yeah.
I think he's more closer to A, because again, I don't think he has nearly as memorable moments as maybe some of these characters above him.
Yeah.
He
that is
does.
true.
Yeah, that's what I'd say, and you know, I enjoy him as a character, as kind of a father. He's in a weird way, he and Holt are supposed to be the father characters, but I think Holt kind of holds that more over Jake, so that's why I kind of think he's better. Rosa Diaz,
S.
you think
Bisexual
S?
icon. Honestly,
Yeah,
my
I
hero.
mean,
Love
I
that
can
girl.
give that. So
Yeah.
you know, I think the arc that they have for as an LGBTQ character is definitely one of the better ones in, you know, sitcom television. I think it definitely works very well. You know, and you know, her character just being so over the top works a good amount of the times. I can always remember those times where she just wants to be very violent, and you know, it works for a lot of the situations in the show. Holt, yeah, I'm just gonna drop him here real quick. He's amazing.
Jake is an S as well. Let's be
Just
real.
off the top,
Yeah.
you know, as soon as he was in the show, he was amazing. You knew he was going to be a great character as soon as he stepped in the room. His first few jokes in the show are amazing. And yeah, and you know,
Love that
obviously-
garbage dump in the Philippines one. That's hilarious.
Yeah,
in the
that
first-
one's
Yeah.
that one's pretty good. There's a reason they use that as like the trailer on Netflix. We're gonna put Jake as S as well. I don't think anyone's gonna argue against
No,
that.
there's no argument there.
Again,
Yeah.
Jake also gets that really strong start. I don't think Amy gets nearly as strong a start as these two are what make the show at the beginning. I watched like the first few episodes recently, and yeah, it just reminded me that Jake and Holt really started off strong, especially with that first little monologue thing. You kind of understand. They get so much of his character in there in that first moments where he's solving that crime, but he's also doing it in a very immature but also brilliant way. So, and you know, that kind of fits his whole character. Just a smart guy. So, yeah. That's our Brooklyn Nine-Nine tier list. That was fun. Definitely.
Sweet.
We'll be doing another tier list next week. And yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Let's think it's about time we get started talking about the movies. The only question is, which one should we start with?
Well, since Eric is our guest, I think we should talk about Mulan first.
All right, yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Also,
let's
I
go.
just want to make a quick disclaimer. I accidentally watched the 2020
Yeah, I
2021
forgot to
Mulan
tell
remake.
him which Mulan it was, and I guess Aiden assumed we
But
were.
that's fine. Like I've seen the
Yeah,
original plenty of times. I know it off the top of
yeah,
my head pretty well, so I don't think it should be an issue. But I gotta
yeah.
say, I was bored out of my mind watching the remake. Seriously, it was the
Really?
worst thing. Oh my god, yeah.
Eric, did you
Like,
watch the remake?
No, not yet. I'm planning on it, but
Okay.
don't don't
no.
ever. Seriously. I mean, you can do it if you want to, like, if you just want something to have as background noise while just to make you feel like you're with people, right? But that's the really only use I can think of it for it. Honestly, it's really not that good, and definitely not worth the $30 fee they were charging us at the beginning when
Yeah, that was
it
kind
came
of
out.
that was definitely
Mm.
not the
It's
move.
bullshit, man.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Um. Yeah, the first one so the new one got nominated for 2 Academy Awards. It was nominated for, I believe, I'm trying to remember, or maybe
Makeup,
just one.
probably.
No, I know costume. It got nominated for
Okay, well that makes
costume
sense. The costumes were done very well. I
and
will admit
visual
that.
effects. It got nominated for costumes and visual effects. I don't know. Having seen the film, Aiden, I just want to quickly ask: do you agree with either of those?
Costumes, I totally agree with. The costumes were really good. I think that makes perfect sense, but I don't know about visual effects. They were just okay. Like, there weren't
I
anything
mean,
really
it
special.
was kind of a weak visual effects year considering all the big blockbusters which normally could nominate for this award got delayed. Things like Dune and any Fast and the Furious or like any of those types of movies, any Marvel movies, all got delayed. So yeah, I mean, I
Yeah,
can get that. All right.
yeah.
Well, we can go ahead and start talking about the movie. I don't know. What do you think of it, Aiden? I guess I'll
The
see
original
real quick.
Mulan. Well, I gotta say, it's not one of Disney's stronger ones, but it's still a very good film in total. I mean, like, I love the voice acting, especially the main lady who voices Mulan. And for those of you who don't actually know this, she is the cyborg lady from The Mandalorian season 1 and season 2. She's like the sharpshooter. That's the person who voices
Oh,
her.
okay. Yeah, I think I
Yeah.
kind of remember her.
No, like she does a great job in the title character, and of course Eddie Murphy as Mushu is just, oh my god, it's
Yeah.
fantastic. He
Yeah.
just he's just playing himself in every movie, but I love it. Like he just brings so much energy to the role, and it's kind of a shame that they cut that out of the remake. I think that could have been cool, like maybe to see another actor try and bring their own spin on it. Like obviously it may not have been as good. It's like that kind of
Yeah.
similar situation with the genie in the new Aladdin movie, right? But it still would have been nice to see because that was by far one of the best parts in the movie, maybe even the best. I'm not entirely sure, but the music was also really good. Like the songs were all beautifully performed too. I
Yeah.
don't know. What do you guys think about them?
So are you saying that the Mushu guy wasn't in the new movie?
No,
Yeah.
he's not. They
He's
took
not in
him
the
out
movie.
because I'll
Yeah.
tell you why. Because fucking
What?
They
it
didn't.
was
Yeah,
a
that's
decree
true.
because the Chinese government wasn't going to let them film in China if they had Mushu in the film.
What is there a reason for that or?
I have no idea. They made them change a lot of the story just so they could film in China.
I can kind of see how, I don't know, it might have been somewhat disrespectful. I can see that happening, if being like, a
Yeah,
dragon should be is usually very respected, and it's like kind of a mythological creature in China, and a lot of good amount of like religions and culture there. But also at the same time, it's like, it's a fun character. Like you can't, I don't think you
Yeah.
can die in it. I don't
yeah.
know if a Chinese audience gets nearly as much enjoyment out of Eddie Murphy as we as a American Westerners do, but
Hmm.
you know, I can kind of understand that, but at the same time, then China, I don't know why they insisted on filming in China at the same time, because like
Yeah.
like it's always kind of sketchy. Like you always,
Yeah.
China is very questionable as a government these days, and just like trying to push something to be filmed there is like just not. I don't think it's very necessary. I mean, if you're
They
gonna make
also
the
apparently.
like if
Oh,
you're gonna yeah if you're gonna make this new Mulan, like
mhm.
it's like you don't have to pretend to try to be. I don't know if they're trying to be more respectful of taking from Chinese culture to make this new movie, because you're already gonna make $1 billion by making a piece of trash anyway. So it's like, why do you gotta do that anyways?
Yeah.
Um,
But I think another big thing about this film was they actually, if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me on this, but I read in a few places that they may or may not have filmed in certain places where I can't pronounce their names, but that Muslim group in China was forcibly removed. That's maybe where I think that's where they filmed some of the scenes, which is problematic for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, this film was just marred in controversy. Not even that, but the main actress who plays Mulan was very pro like Hong Kong police during the entire production, and obviously that caused a lot of people to try and boycott the film. So definitely has a lot of problems, but the original doesn't have that, and I think we can all agree on that. I think it's a great film all around. I quite like it, and I frequently revisit it now that I have Disney Plus. Right, it's at my fingertips. I can see it anytime I want. So,
Yeah.
well, like let's get your perspective, Eric. Like we haven't, like what do you like most about the film?
I mean, based off now what you said that in the new movie, Mushu isn't in it. I would say Mushu is now probably one of my favorite characters. I
Yeah.
thought he was like a good comedic relief in the movie. He was like half, I would think like half of the story that made it, because it just wouldn't be the same without him. So,
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with you, honestly. Like there was a noticeable drop in quality and like they did try and do some comedy in the remake, but it just didn't land. And like I could never tell when they were trying to do a joke. It always seemed I don't know, it was weird. It was like it seemed like it was just so forced that it kind of flew under my radar. I don't know if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
everything happening around it was just overly silly to the point where I didn't know when there was actually supposed to be a joke happening. It just seemed odd. But
Yeah, I think what's
yeah.
one of the most important things about Mushu in the original movie is that they also try to do a lot of other jokes, obviously without Mushu. But Mushu obviously adds comedy to almost every scene he's in, so that allows the movie to kind of be consistent in tone as far as always having some comedic parts, right? Like you can never you're never supposed to take it too seriously because there's a dragon who has Eddie Murphy's voice coming out of him, and I think that also helps it keep with like the kind of the kids movie mood that you want, but while also like he also doesn't ruin the any like tension or drama that you want from the big army scenes and the the action that happens. And, I
No, he
think
doesn't.
in the new one, I think they really tried to lean into that action thing, especially considering this the old Mulan is rated G, and I'm pretty sure this new one is rated PG-13. So I don't know who
Yeah.
they made this for, other than like I don't know who they made it for. It's like obvious. It
It's like
clearly wasn't trying to
13-year-olds.
be marketed just towards kids, considering the PG-13 rating. But at the same time, it's like what do you expect action people to be like? Oh yes, let's watch the new Mulan to see some epic stunts or something like that. Because apparently they tried to do a lot of stunts in the movie, and that's definitely something that happened there. I want to quickly ask everyone what's the best song in Mulan?
It's Reflection, 100%. It's just my god. I honestly I listened to that. I have it in my library. Fantastic Disney song, and I don't know. I don't know what you guys think of it, but it's personally my favorite. I think it might even be my favorite out of like all the Disney songs actually. Like it goes hard. Like I don't know. It's just such a fantastic song. I don't know what you guys think though. What's your favorite songs?
which one was the reflection one?
Oh, it's the one where she's like, I don't know, she's like walking out of her like out of the matchmaker's area, and she's like, when am I ever going to be allowed to be myself instead of just be someone to be married off, right? She's having that moment, so that's when she sings it. Does that ring a bell, or you guys good?
Yeah, I
Vaguely,
remember it.
Yeah. Okay.
Eric, what's your favorite, or do you?
Probably that one, or I don't know the names of the songs, but I know there was at least one for some fight scene. I think
Oh, do you mean the training scene? The training scene song?
maybe, yeah.
I'll
Oh
Make a
yeah,
Man
that's
Out
a
of
good one
You.
too.
That
I
one,
like that
that's
one.
my
So-
favorite. I think that's definitely my favorite for sure. Yeah, and I'd say it's one of the best ever. It's amazing. I really enjoy it. It's a great combination of using they usually have songs and training montages, things like Rocky and stuff. But the lyrics definitely help aid the visual presentation and what's like happening to the characters, and it integrates it very well. Like whenever they're almost doing lyrics that directly are supposed to be almost like dialogue in some of the part, because obviously some of it isn't dialogue because you see they're just singing, but there's different things happening on screen. But when there is like sort of dialogue song lyrics, it works very well in the song. I think that's a pretty impressive accomplishment personally. you know So you said this was like one of the did you say like what mid?
No, I didn't say. I said that it was.
I'm just curious. Sorry, let me rephrase that.
It wasn't Disney's strongest one. I
Right.
probably should have rephrased that. It's not. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's weak. I think it's fantastic, but I don't think it's like the best Disney animated film. That's all I'm trying to say.
I would ask,
Okay.
what do you think is better than this? Because I think this is pretty close to top tier Disney film.
The Lion King,
I mean,
Aladdin.
yeah.
I
I don't know,
mean,
but Aladdin. Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen it,
Maybe not
so I can't
Aladdin, but
say
I mean,
that.
I think The Lion King is probably the best one, to be honest. I mean,
Yeah, I
yeah,
think a lot of people, love The Lion King, for good reason.
yeah.
I think the songs are stronger in The Lion King overall. I mean, Hans Zimmer's score is very impressive. I did like the score overall in Mulan a little more. I paid attention to that. Like, I kind of enjoyed the music that wasn't just the songs. I think that works pretty well.
Yeah.
The animation was good.
Yeah.
It's no Studio Ghibli, for sure. But what was most impressive, I think, was the scale they were able to create, and the crowd scenes were very well done. I think those were
Hmm.
well executed. I don't know how much effort they must have put into getting those like large armies and the crowds for the final scene with the emperor and all of that, but I think that was very well done. And
Yeah.
I would say the plot's a bit simple and can be a little cheesy, but I mean it's a Disney movie. What exactly? I don't know what I can expect other than that. You know,
Yeah.
it kind of it has those moments. It has like it's pretty simple. It's just she goes to war, she helps fight war, and then she helps save Emperor. It's pretty easy to summarize this movie, which doesn't always necessarily make it a bad thing, because I think that aids a lot of the cool visuals, some of the fun moments, and the songs, and the comedy, which works I think pretty well. I wouldn't say I laughed out loud, but I think I definitely enjoyed it. I would say that for sure.
Yeah,
So
no, like there are some pretty good jokes in there. I mean, like I think most of them do come from Eddie Murphy, but there are a few good ones
Mhm.
from other characters, to be honest.
yeah, Eric,
Yeah.
do you have any other thoughts about the movie?
Hmm.
No, not really.
Okay. Um, yeah, I don't really have anything else. Like you said, I think the voice acting is pretty good, especially from Mulan, the main girl. I think she does a pretty good job of kind
Oh
of
yeah.
having that. Like, you can believe the voice change, but you can also kind of believe that it wouldn't completely give her away. But at the same time, it's kind of obvious to us at the audience that she's not like if they had someone else, if they had like a man voice her all of a sudden, that would be kind of weird. But like she kind of has, it's a good hybrid, and I think most of the and I think Eddie Murphy, it's kind of like the original Donkey in a lot of ways, and
Hmm.
like you may very much make comparisons between the Shrek Donkey and Mushu in this film, and I think that's definitely fun. I really like I think maybe one of the most enjoyable moments was the fire one where he's trying to pretend to be this big awesome dragon, and then it's just him. I think I
Yeah,
enjoyed that.
that was pretty funny. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're done talking about Mulan.
Should we give it a rating?
Yeah, I think we'll give it a rating. Aiden, out of 10, what would you give this film?
8.5.
In half. All right,
Yeah.
very strong.
I know higher than Beale Street could talk. I just want to make
Yeah,
that
we'll
clear.
keep slamming for that for a while.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Eric,
Eric.
what would you
Yeah.
give this film out of 10?
Um, hmm, maybe 7.5, 8.
Ooh.
Okay. All right.
All right.
I give it an 8 out of 10. I enjoy it a lot. I think I don't think any rewatch will ever be higher than 8 out of 10. Like, there's some cheese and there's too much Disney-esque plot points, and I don't think the songs are nearly as good
Yeah.
as something The Lion King. But this film does a lot of good things right. I think we forgot to kind of this is a pretty good feminist film overall. I think it has a good amount of positive messages. The cultural stuff is a bit iffy, in a lot of good parts, like especially that one line's like Mongolian barbecue. It's like, I don't know. It's trying. I really don't like that because it feels like it's trying to group almost every Asian country into one. Like just everything, all Asian countries is just China. But I can kind of accept that for a 1998 film. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Like I mean, like a lot of the Asian
And it
characters
doesn't
were
ruin the
voiced by
movie
white
at all.
people,
It's not
so
like
makes sense.
it's like it's more about the character and like the kind of
Yeah.
the more universal story rather than any of the intricacies of culture, which is good because if they tried to pretend to be experts on that, they would have failed miserably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
All
sure.
right. Well, next we're gonna talk about my recommendation for the podcast. I just want to ask quickly, Eric, did you end up watching The Killing of a Sacred Deer?
No.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
I
I
was-
guess me and Aiden will just have to talk about it.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Um.
That's fine. I want to ask Aiden real quick. Did you laugh at this movie?
I laughed for the wrong reason because I'm not gonna lie to you, I did not like this movie.
You
Like,
don't like this
first of
movie?
all, What's wrong with the dialogue? Why do people talk the way they do in the film?
That's
It's
part.
always it's so robotic. I don't like it, man. It makes me feel uncomfortable. And there's all these scenes where like the fucking dad's just going around telling people, "Oh, my daughter had her first period." Like, what the fuck is up with that? Like, and then the daughter's flexing that to like whatever his name is Barry Keoghan, and like,
Yeah.
what type of flex is that? I mean, like, oh, I had my period. Like, oh, how cool is that? I mean, like, it's such a strange film. I mean, like, there's a lot of disturbing imagery in there as well. I mean, like, I don't know. It just wasn't for me, man. It,
Okay.
I know this is one of your favorite films. You've told me I should watch it. I'm sorry to tell you this. I just don't like it. All right,
Yeah.
it's a bit
Okay.
too out there for me. I mean, it's not as. I mean, like, I think it's a bit more out there. Even something with like, Sorry to Bother You, and I actually like that film. I like the risks it took, but I think that this film just seemed a little bit too like up its own arse. I mean, maybe that's just me,
I
but
can agree with that
yeah,
to a certain extent, I'd say. Yorgos Lanthimos, the director of this movie,
yeah,
he made The Favorite, which is I like a
yeah,
lot, and I do believe, and also he made The Lobster, which is really I really enjoy.
yeah,
And this is, I would say, this is the weirdest, most Yorgos movie because in The Lobster, his characters will do the same thing. They have very stilted delivery, but also they're not nearly as weird as these characters. And I can understand not liking them, but I think the fact that they're so weird kind of works for me a lot because you just kind of accept that like they're just not normal people. They seem normal, but like they're really not. And that, oddly enough, that makes me love Barry Keoghan's character a lot more because he's like, despite him also really being a weirdo, he's much more relatable, and he's kind of like you very much understand him a lot more than these other characters, right? And I think this movie does a lot of good things because I think it's very smart from a writing standpoint as far as what it uses to set up. It's very passive aggressive, right? If you don't pick up the stuff that they're saying, like sometimes they almost straight up, like they rarely straight up say what's going on, but they sort of say what happened before, right? Like that point in the movie where Colin Farrell's character is talking about how he doesn't drink anymore, when he's at that party with his like anesthesiologist, and also that kind of like that, yeah, it's like, and how that shows like that he was like an alcoholic before, and he was drunk when he did this like did you like how much did he I'm just curious, how much did you understand from this movie, right? Like, because I think some of it, I still don't understand everything from this movie, I'll be honest, but how much did you
I
understand?
mean, I mean, not a whole lot to be completely honest with you. I mean, I still don't understand like how like fucking Martin has these powers. Like, what the hell was that even about, man?
Okay, yeah,
Like,
that I do agree. That's definitely the weirdest
that
part.
was not explained at all.
That
Uh,
wasn't I. There was one part where I think I kind of picked up on it. There's this part where the camera focuses on the daughter, like putting on some kind of
mhm.
lip gloss. So I'm kind of thinking that was the thing, like he did something to that, and that's why she became sick. I don't know what happened to the son. I don't know how he made him sick. So yeah, again, feels very mysterious in that way. Um, so
But then
basically,
again, but there's that whole scene when they're at the hospital. If he did like poison them to make them have paralysis, like,
yeah,
wouldn't they have picked up that on that at the hospital? Like, I don't know. It just
that
seems a bit weird, man.
yeah, and I guess in
Uh,
that way it's very much like, and that's where like if it is just trying to say that Barry Keoghan's character has powers, I think it's I okay. Here's what I'd say. Is a very interesting interpretation I saw is how Colin Farrell's character was kind of playing God in how, and I think it's kind of a reflection on surgeons and how they're basically in charge of whether their patient lives or dies. So if in this case he sometime like when he was drunk he just decides he doesn't care, right? Because he's drunk, he doesn't, and he completely botches the surgery. Barry Keoghan in this way is kind of a character who's kind of like the devil in some kind of ways, just kind of showing him retribution for like misusing his power as a surgeon against,
yeah.
like, especially specifically against his father, and how he is able to like do this stuff is not really that important. It's more about the dynamic between the two. And then it at least makes sense how like Colin Farrell's character I'm trying to remember. I don't remember his name again. Is his no, his name's not Martin. That's Barry Keoghan's character. How he like meets up with Barry and tries to like give him stuff and like try to be a mentor to him in some ways because he is very much responsible for his father's death. Um, and I think one thing I liked about this movie was the music. I think it made it very eerie and mysterious, and I think that's very much what Yorgos was going for, and I enjoyed it a lot. And I will say, it sometimes is a little too over. It's too much Yorgos. Like, I understand not liking the stilted dialogue, but to me, I'm kind of used to that because this feels just like a darker version of like a Wes Anderson movie. You know how they try to bring out comedy in saying things without emotion. It's kind
That's
of like
actually
that, but a
that's
lot,
actually a really good way to put it.
yeah, but it's
Actually,
a
I
lot
never
weird.
thought
Like, but what they're saying is a lot
about it.
weirder than what they'd say in a Wes Anderson movie. But for me,
Yeah,
that like really works because what they're saying is so weird and almost fucked up, but at the same time, you just kind of want to laugh at it, right? And that's why
yeah,
I found the comedy that he was going for really good. You know, and I think they're all really interesting characters because just like how like Martin is trying to like make up for what he does, but then Barry's just like not letting him off, so like he kind of has to
yeah.
make this decision. And again, he's kind of playing God when he's the one shooting like one of his family members, right? He's the one who's kind of in charge of that, and Barry just like kind of put him in a position that where he like just doesn't win, right?
Mm.
And I think it was very interesting what could happen to that, you know, and I like the acting in this movie. I think Barry Keoghan's definitely. I don't know who you thought was the strongest actor. I definitely thought it was Barry Keoghan.
No, I would agree
His
with
character
that.
is
Yeah,
very interesting.
yeah.
I also like the use of zooms. It makes it feel very eerie and mysterious. I think the zooms kind of like have a more mystical kind of effect because obviously as humans you can't really zoom. You can't zoom. We can't zoom. We can like camera move if you're trying to emulate like a person's like point of view with camera movement. You can't use a zoom because we can't like zoom into stuff.
Yeah.
But I think that also helps with that idea that like these people aren't really humans. So like they're being observed, like and like if any of these are trying to be POVs, these are zoom. These are like it's not. It's like maybe Barry Keoghan's not human, which would
Yeah.
make everything else about this movie make a little more sense. And again, I don't think this film's ever trying to say this is trying to be realistic, right? Because like who the fuck is this weird? But I think that's what I love about it. I
Yeah.
think the world he's created works pretty well. I do think the character who played the son kind of botched it. I I,
Yeah.
I don't think he was too good. I liked him in another movie mid '90s, Sonny
Yeah. No,
Soljic. I
I've
like
looked
him
him
in
up.
that.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was him. Yeah, it's
Really
crazy.
liked him there. The daughter was very boring overall, but I think she works
Yeah.
pretty well for the film, and she does execute that like bland style of dialogue. And I think the weirdness about like them talking about like the period and like the hair, I think it's all kind of this idea that it's a weird idea that since their father's a doctor, they're all kind of obsessed with like body parts, and like since Barry's character apparently wants to be like a doctor as well, they're all kind of obsessed with the like human anatomy in some ways, and that's like why the stuff about the human body comes into their dialogue so much, which makes it kind of weird, but at least it's consistent to me, right?
Yeah.
And like
I
that's
mean,
kind of what I enjoyed about the movie in
I
that
mean,
way.
I know plenty of people whose like parents are doctors, and I know for a fact they don't
Right.
fucking
Yeah, I
talk
know.
like that. I
I'm
mean,
not saying that,
yeah.
right? I'm not saying
Yeah.
but like at
No,
least
no, of
it's
course I
consistent,
know.
right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
and you can kind of see where like a weird fucked up family kind of having this idea where like if one of them was a doctor, they're kind of all kind of more curious about the human body than the average person, and since they're weird, they bring it into like the weird stuff they say, right?
Yeah.
And I think this movie does a lot of great, like I said, the passive aggressive nature of this film. A lot of stuff kind of takes place off camera, and obviously like they're never like fighting each other really, except for like the kind of confrontations in the basement. But even then, they're not like really doing any, nothing really gets accomplished. They just kind of hurt each other a bit. Nothing like major is ever accomplished. Everything's done without actually like showing up face to face. Everything's like all the poisoning and all that stuff just happens pretty much off screen, and it like when they're actually face to face, they kind of explain, not in obviously straight up way what's happening, but in a way that's very interesting and you can kind of pick up on to like what's going on with the rest of this movie.
Yeah.
Um, the MP3 thing was weird though. Them casually saying like talking about an MP3 player when this is supposed to be like 2016 because like clearly they have iPhones and stuff. Or
Yeah, I know. Like that.
That was
I was
weird.
wondering what the hell was up with that. Yeah,
That was stupid.
yeah.
But
Perhaps he
yeah,
wrote this script in like the mid 2000s or something.
maybe that's
But then
definitely
again, he could have
possible.
changed it.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
like who
I don't
knows?
understand that.
Exactly, like
Yeah.
he could have changed that part. Like clearly, I don't think Yorgos is the kind of person who would know like a teenage like a pop song that a teenage girl would sing. So I don't know if he
So
literally
he
just
put
asked
Ellie
yeah,
Goulding.
like that. I don't know. Yeah, exactly. I don't know if he just like asked the actress just to sing a song that she likes for that scene. I could definitely see that happening, and I think that part at least it shows like he has at least some idea of who he's dealing with for like these younger characters. And I really like that they were able to bring like such personality to like younger teen. Like I like that the villain was like a fucking teenage boy eating spaghetti in his underwear. You know, like how and like again all this weird stuff just kind of adds to like it just tops itself with weirdness, right? You know how like
Yeah.
some like Airplane's a very comedic movie in that I don't think the jokes are all that good, but it just piles on so many that you kind of just like it, right? And I think this movie does
Yeah,
that with like
and
the
I think that's
weirdness of
good for
it.
like other viewing experiences as well, because like maybe you don't pick up on all of them the first time, but it means that on multiple reviewings you can have just as good a time as the first time, maybe even a better one. So
And I'd say
yeah,
I'd say this about this film. I think there's a good amount of stuff I might be able to pick up on a second watch, and and I think his endings kind of allow you to do that because you're not looking forward to the ending at all, especially on a rewatch. Because I think you can say this ending is a little underwhelming overall. Like once the climax happens, there's nothing else that really makes you intrigued or like feel concluded. But that's kind of how Yorgos
yeah,
does his movies. He never really lets you have a satisfying conclusion, and that's just his style. So like, I can see if you don't like his movies, you might not enjoy that. But I think this is definitely his. I think this is the most polarizing film. I'll be honest. I think The Favorite and The Lobster are a lot more accessible. There's the reason this one didn't get nominated for an Academy Award, but the other two did. The Favorite
yeah,
especially got nominated for a lot. So I could see that being a thing.
yeah. Like I've seen clips from The Favorite, and it actually has like I don't know dialogue that doesn't sound like it's coming from Sofia Coppola's mouth. I mean, like you know what I mean, right? Just very stilted. It was just I don't know. Like even I've seen clips from The Lobster, and it doesn't even look as bad as this film in terms of a dialogue like standpoint. I don't understand like what's the reasoning for that? Like, do you have any idea like why he decides to do that? Because I
Cause
gotta say, it doesn't make the film fun to watch. It's just unintentionally hilarious, you know?
I think
Like,
no, that's intentional. I'm pretty sure that's intentional. I'll be honest, because the comedy is that they're saying these obscene, weird things, but they're saying it like so blandly that like to them it's just completely normal and even boring. But for us, we're just like, what? Right? That's kind of the
yeah.
idea, right? And
I
that's
mean, I
what
guess
I
I can
enjoy
kind of
about it.
understand it, but I
Right?
think
Like if
there's
they
better
said
ways
this
to do
stuff
that. You know?
seriously, I think it would still be
Yeah.
funny, right? But then
Yeah.
it wouldn't feel like it was being done on purpose. It was like the characters were actually taking what they're saying seriously. But I think the director definitely wanted the characters not to take it seriously because, like, again, I don't think this whole thing's really supposed to be taken seriously. I think it's just supposed to be like a dark comedy in a lot of ways, right? With some thriller
Probably.
elements thrown into it. And I can see
Yeah.
why if you don't like the comedy and what they do with it, I can
Yeah.
see why you don't like this movie. But
I mean, like it took
I
me. I
loved
gotta
it.
tell you right now, it took me like three separate viewings to like finish it. It was very hard to watch. I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, like I spread it out throughout the entire day yesterday. That was pretty much all I did, to be honest. I mean, like it's just a very difficult film to watch, and like I know what you're saying. Like you think that maybe a reviewing could make me, I don't know, like it better, but I don't even know if I could do that,
I
man. Like,
I could say if you didn't like it the first time, I could see you not liking it. Like
yeah,
I just I would say like everything the director wanted to accomplish, he did pretty much perfectly, almost in my opinion.
yeah,
But
okay,
I guess what he accomplished you didn't like. I loved it. Like, I think it would have been better if you watched his other two movies because then you can kind of understand what you're expecting for a Yorgos Lanthimos movie.
yeah,
And I think that's maybe why I enjoyed it so much on my first viewing, having seen
because
his
you
other
kind of
two
came
movies.
into it
Because
knowing
I
what to
kind of, yeah,
expect.
exactly. I knew
Yeah,
what would happen. So I would
okay.
maybe say, like, watch
I
his other
actually really
two
want to see The
movies. Yeah,
lobster. I
exactly.
heard that
What,
was
like,
good.
I would say
Yeah.
maybe watch I would say The Favorite is most successful movie. This is his least. The Lobster's kind of in between. I'd say watch his other two movies and then give this one another try. If like this time you kind of don't want to watch it, I can understand that. But I'd say watch his other two movies. Expect this and see if you can try to pick up on what I liked about the movie. And I'd say give it a second try.
All right, you know what? I think that's a fair thing. I'll make that my mission. I'll see if I can do something with that. All right, but as far as the score, I hate to do this, man. I'd have to give it like a 5, to be completely honest. I mean,
okay. I mean,
I'm not gonna give it like a terrible score, but I think 5 is,
yeah,
about where I'm at with it. It's very, like you said, very polarizing. I mean, like I said, I know some people love it, some people hate it. I mean, like I did read that about the film before watching it, but I didn't understand why. But now I get it.
Yeah.
It's definitely out there. What would you give it?
I give it a 9. I enjoyed it very much, and it brought everything that I wanted. Plus, I think there's some stuff I might enjoy more. Like, this could be a 10 out of 10 movie for me, potentially, on a second viewing, I think. I enjoyed it a lot. And, maybe that just makes me a really weird person. But, another weird person is is communicating their weirdness to me. And, it's like, I would never want these people, like, to be involved in my real life. But, that's the point of movies, right? You don't want the stuff that's on the screen to ever be in your real life, but you also kind of want to witness it, and I enjoyed a lot about that film.
Sweet. All right.
Well,
Eric, It's been a pleasure, sir. You did not say a ton, but what you did said, I did appreciate. And I do appreciate you sharing your perspective with us, and maybe you can come back on the show sometime again.
We'll see.
Yeah. No, of course. I know you're probably a very busy man, but
yes. Yeah, he is. Yeah. Don't let him lie to you. Thank you, Eric, so much for coming on. I think we're gonna try to figure out what we're gonna watch for our next podcast.
I actually have an option already.
You do. Okay. If you want.
So I'm gonna do my own separate review on that. That's gonna be coming out tomorrow at GBD Reviews, which I don't know when you're gonna post this, but it'll probably be Monday, April 12th. So so by the time this comes out, it'll probably already be out. So make sure to go check that out. And it's going to be Concrete Cowboys. It just came on Netflix. I actually really want to see it. It looked good. I mean, I think it could be an interesting film. It deals with an interesting subject matter. So yeah.
For my recommendation, I'll do Zero Dark 30 since I do want to see that, and you recommended it last week. We didn't. There you go. Replaced it with Eric's movie, but it's definitely a movie I want to see. So. We'll do that.
Well, I honestly, I hope you like it. Like, I would just keep in mind there's some torture scenes in there, so I don't know how you deal with that sort of stuff, but it's hard to watch in some areas, but I still do think it's pretty good. So
I mean, I like this movie. I liked Killing Sacred Deer. It's not really torture. Like I said, there's not a lot of brutality on screen, really. It's just weird. It's more weird dialogue and stuff you kind of see in the background, and then a couple moments of violence and sex, but I think they work.
I guess it's true. Like, it kind of shocks you.
Exactly. Like, I think what the movie does well is that it doesn't it's not trying to go for shock value, really. It's not trying to scare you or show you, oh, look at this blood, oh, this person's dead, oh, look at these fucked up people, they're killing each other, trying to be they're not doing that. They're just they're just really weird people who are just kind of poking at each other almost, but in very aggressive ways.
All right. Well, I guess that's it then. Thank you guys again for watching. Please subscribe to this channel. We're not done yet?
We're not done yet. We're gonna.
Oh, do you have more to say? My God, you don't shut up.
No. I was we're gonna do our just our recommendations from
I forgot about that. My bad. Jesus Christ. Oh, jeez.
All right. So from Eric, I might as well. Eric has a quick one he wants to share with us.
Oh, okay. All right, let's hear it, man. Yeah, what do you got?
I watched Detective Pikachu and it was pretty good.
Oh yeah.
At least I liked it.
I saw that. I saw that last summer. I didn't think it was too bad. I mean, I definitely think Ryan Reynolds was the best part of the film. He's pretty good as Pikachu. Really, let's be honest. But other than that, it was probably the best video game movie I've ever seen. I know it's not really setting the bar too high, but still, I mean, it accomplished what it says to accomplish. So.
What about Ready Player One?
Yeah, but that's not really an adaptation of a video game into a movie, Yeah,
Okay.
like I did like Ready Player One as well, but I mean, like for the most part, movies that have been adapted from video game series have not done very well, So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Anything else, Eric? Have you seen anything else this week, or that's it?
No, I've seen like one movie this week, so
That's all right.
yeah.
All right, Daniel, would you like to go next?
Yeah, sure. I can't always hold myself to one because I watch too many movies, so I'm gonna do two real
Yeah.
quick. They're both available on Amazon Prime, so if you have that, you can check them out. I definitely highly recommend both of these movies. So the first one is A Taxi Driver, starring Song Kang-ho, who was in Parasite. This is a really cool movie. I really enjoyed it. There's a lot of great things about this movie. The scale is very well done. It's a very exciting movie, but it's also kind of funny. And it's kind of a character study of this guy who's like kind of struggling financially. So he takes like he takes this foreign journalist into this like protest area, and things kind of just escalate from there. I don't want to spoil it, obviously, but I really
Oh, where
enjoyed
can we
this
watch
movie.
this?
Amazon Prime.
Oh,
Yeah.
solid. All right,
Yeah.
sweet.
I'll quickly recommend another one, Ida, which is also on Amazon Prime. Definitely a slower. I think it's also more passive aggressive things like the messaging and stuff isn't really in your face of that movie, but it's very well shot. Every shot kind of looks like a beautiful photograph. It's all in black and white, but it's also pretty quick. It's only 80 minutes, and I think the pacing works pretty well. So, and I enjoyed that
Yeah.
movie a lot, so I'd recommend that as well.
Nice. Well, unlike previous episodes as of late, I actually have some other movies that I've watched this week, so you should be excited. All right, so I watched one that is kind of, I guess it's kind of fallen under the radar in like the past couple of years. It came out in 2010. It's called Unstoppable. It was like one of Tony Scott's final films. It's about a runaway freight train that could like I don't know, it's gonna cause some havoc, right? That's pretty much it. It's like
Okay.
pretty simple, and apparently it's based off true events. So I don't know.
Oh
It's
yeah, I
interesting.
should mention that A Taxi Driver was also based on true events.
Oh
Like the
no
protest,
shit.
like yeah, the protest was real and the
Yeah.
stuff that's happening and that is real. Yeah, it'll
Oh well, there you
show
go.
that it'll say that in the film. So yeah,
Okay, yeah. But no, I mean like this film isn't too bad. I mean like Tony Scott, I think he's not known for making like, cinematic masterpieces, but what he is good at is making popcorn thriller type films, and I think he succeeds again. I mean like you got Denzel Washington, Chris Pine in this film, Rosario Dawson. It's a pretty good cast, and I think it does a good job at like just showing us some cinematic thrills. Like it's not, don't get me wrong, it's not like an amazing movie, but it's fun to watch, and definitely woke me up from the coma that was the 2021 Mulan. I watched that like right afterwards. So yeah. And another movie I watched this week, I rewatched Vice, and I got to say I'm starting to agree with your position on it
Vice
more.
is a piece of shit. It's
I didn't like it. I
garbage.
hated it the second time I watched it. I actually quite liked it the first time, but now it's just I can't get through it, man. It's so boring. What the fuck? Like it's just so boring. It's pretentious. It's everything you said it was. I get it now. I don't know why I didn't see that the first time, but like,
Yeah.
ugh,
What I really
Jesus.
hate about Vice, but also just Adam McKay in general, at least his new like disaster tires, I'll say, because he's like trying to take true events and bring his own spin to them, trying to make them
Yeah.
comedic, but also like, oh, look at this piece of shit, Dick Cheney. Look at him. Look how and
Yeah.
I hate how he thinks he's doing it. It feels like I can feel like his arrogance through his movies. It's like how he thinks he's doing something smart. That's that one scene where like Dick Cheney's talking to like Sam Rockwell, who also is kind of hilarious in this film, frankly, like the Bush
Yeah.
character, and he's like, oh, I don't want to really be your vice president because that kind of thing is it's kind of useless. And then it's like
Ceremonial.
the
Yeah.
fish, the fishing rod thing. It's like, oh, he's reeling him
Yeah.
in, and it's like, oh, really? Wow, genius idea. Just show a fishing
Yeah.
rod to show that he's reeling him in. He's like, yeah, I don't enjoy
Yeah.
that. But yeah, I'll
Yeah.
quickly mention another film I liked, Shiva Baby. It's a 2021. It's a new film that just came out on VOD. I enjoyed it a lot. It's a great thriller, I'd say. But it's also kind of like a normal situation at the same time. It's bringing like a tension out of like a pretty normal situation.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
All
Sweet.
right.
Oh,
So yeah, I think that's about
now we
time.
can wrap it
We
up.
can
Yeah.
definitely wrap it up. Thank you
Yeah.
guys so much for watching. Thank you again, Eric, for being on the podcast and listening to us ramble on about a really weird movie that clearly we had different opinions on.
Yeah.
But I hope you enjoyed some of the arguments that both of us made about that movie. And yeah, we'll probably have you on another time if you would like that, and I look forward to that. And yeah, next week, Zero Dark 30 and Concrete Cowboy. We might do it. I think since we're on March break, we might do that on Wednesday or sometime in the middle of the week. That way we can do two
Yeah.
episodes this week. Maybe I think that would be interesting since we don't have anything else to do. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next podcast. I guess next video. All right, see you guys.
Deuces.